Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back. Today's daf is Kesubos Ayin. Now, if we begin right on top of the Amid, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Yisrael Chodesh Echad B'chulu, back to the Mishnah. We had three cases of a neder between husband and wife. In the first case, he makes a neder. Look, you can't have any benefit from me. Tanakama says, we'll give you 30 days, and then it's all over, you have to divorce. According to Rabbi Yehuda, if she's an Eshes Yisrael, it's a month of leeway. Otherwise, if we're speaking about an Eshes Kohen, in which case he can't remarry, we give you a bit more time to reconsider. Question is, why does Rabbi Yehuda say Bi Yisrael Chodesh Echad, which is exactly like the Tanakama? The first Tana also says it's a 30-day grace period for the typical Eshes Yisrael. Isn't this a repetition? Hainu Tanakama. Rabbi Yehuda's month leeway is exactly like the Tanakama's 30-day leeway. 30 days is a month. Amar Abaye, Kaihenes Asalash Minan. True. In terms of the Yisrael's wife, he's really saying the same as Tanakama. Rabbi Yehuda was just trying to add another element, an Eshes Kohen, if she's married to a Kohen, in which case we give you a bit more grace period and allow you to reconsider. So that's the additional chiddush of Rabbi Yehuda regarding the Eshes Kohen. Rava Amar, there's another difference, even regarding a Yisrael's wife. Chodesh Malay v'chodesh Chasri Kibenayu. Tanakama says it's a 30-day grace period, which we learned yesterday is the amount of time needed for the news to get out, which would shame and humiliate her in public. So we give you 30 days, otherwise, if it's past 30, divorce. What about if the month happens to have 29 days? Some month you have 29, some you have 30. So according to Tanakama, it's a standard 30-day grace period. We don't differentiate. We avoid confusion. Keep it clear and consistent, 30 days. Rabbi Yehuda looks at the month per month. So if it's a 30-day month, fine, we'll give you that month. But if it's a 29-day month, we want to keep it clear and consistent. Just make it a month. So whatever the month happens to be. And if it's a 29-day month, you only have 29 days to reconsider. So that's Ike Benai between Tanakama, who sets it at 30 standard, and Rabbi Yehuda sets it at a month, whatever the month happens to be. Amar Rav Lo Yishanu. This halacha that we give him a 30-day, etc. grace period, that only applies Ela b'mefarish. If he specifies, look, I'm going to make this neder for X amount of time, so then she knows there's an end in sight. If it's only 30 days, okay, that's reasonable. Aval bestam. But if he leaves it open-ended, unspecified, leaves her hanging perpetually, and she doesn't see an end in sight, Ksuba, he has to divorce immediately and pay the Ksuba. That's unfair. Even if he didn't give a defined, a specified expiration date to his neder, he's not compelled to divorce. Why? After all, he might find a way out of his neder and reconsider. Give him that chance. So according to Rav, if it's stam, divorce. According to Shmuel, even by stam, he left it open-ended. We give him a chance to reconsider. Asks the Gemara, but haven't Rav and Shmuel already discussed this very same issue earlier by the other neder of Tashmish Amita back in the previous parak? They've already discussed this earlier. If l'gubei desnan hamader is ishte mitashmish Amita, he makes a neder, I will not interact with you physically. We give him 2 weeks and that's it. 1 week. Rav added, this only works if he specifies a week, 2 weeks. Okay, it's reasonable. We let it go. Aval bestam, but if it's unspecified, there's no real defined end zone, expiration date to this neder. You must divorce and pay the ksuba. You can't just let your wife hang like that in uncertainty. Even if it was just a stam, you should not divorce. He doesn't have to divorce. Ultimately, he might find a way out to nullify the neder. Give him a chance. So why discuss the same machlekes there and here? Tzricha, both are needed. If only from that discussion, I would say by Hikama Rav, perhaps over there Rav maintains that if he didn't specify a defined duration for the neder, you have to divorce. Mishum delay efshar b'parnas. There, you can't really have an arrangement through a third party to provide for her. We're speaking about physical interaction. So distancing yourself plus leaving her in a state of uncertainty, that's unfair. Divorce right away. Aval b'ha, but in our case, where it's just a matter of sustenance and provisions, the efshar b'parnas. After all, it can have a third party provide for her, as we discussed yesterday. So that mitigates the issue. Perhaps in this case, even Rav would agree to Shmuel, even if it's a stam neder, give it a chance to unravel, give him a chance to reconsider. No, Chiddush is even here, Rav says, you're being unfair, divorce. If only this discussion by us, Shmuel, I would say, yeah, in this case, Shmuel insists on divorce. Shmuel does not insist on divorce, even if it's stam. Give him a chance, because after all, you're providing through a third party. Aval bahi, but in the case of Tashan Shamita, where that's not practical, perhaps Shmuel would agree to Rav. If it's a stam neder, that's not a way to work, and you have to divorce tzricha. The chiddush is no, even in that case, we give him a chance to rescind, to reconsider. Let's move on to the next part of our Mishnah, part 2, Tanan. Hamaderes ishtek, shloi titoim echad mikol haperis. He makes a neder. Don't enjoy this specific type of fruit. Yoitzi, eating ksuba, divorce right away and give the ksuba. Why is there no grace period in this case? Like in the first case of the neder that you can't have enough from me, will we give him a grace period? Why is this different? Now, Bishlam el Rav, according to Rav, we can provide a very simple solution. Kan bistam, kan b'mefarish. In case 1 of the Mishnah, he specified 2 weeks, a month. Okay, we let it stand. But here, with a fruit, it was stam, it was undefined, unspecified, divorced right away. Elo l'shmuel kasha. But according to Shmuel, there is no difference between stam or mefarish. So how would you explain the difference between the case of between case 1 in the Mishnah, where we give him a 30-day grace period, and grace 2 where we don't? Kasha. Oh, we're speaking about a very specific case. He didn't make the neder, she made the neder. She expressed this neder, and he confirmed it. Typically, a husband has the ability to interfere with his wife's neder. In this case, he accepted it, he confirmed it. Oh, so the point is, there's no benefit to waiting. There's no point in waiting. You see, when he's making the neder against her, so she assumes that he got upset. We give him some time to cool off, to unravel, to get back to himself. Give him 30 days. Okay, so it's a reasonable amount of time to allow him to get back, his train back on track. But here, she was the one who made the neder and is running to Bezdin to get her ksuba. It's pretty clear that she has no intent. She has no plans to reconsider. She's running to get her ksuba. She wants to get divorced. So in this case, no point in waiting. Now the question is, fine, there's no point in waiting, but why do we obligate him to pay his ksuba? She's the one making the trouble. She's the one distancing herself from me. She's the one making a neder, and as the Gemara later says, she's complaining, look, I made the neder, and he's confirming it, and he doesn't like me. You see, he's perfectly fine with me living with these restrictions. I want out. Fine, but who's the one making it? Who's the one who actually made the neder? She. So why does he have to pay the ksuba? The answer is because Savar Rab Meir. We assume that a Mishnah without a name is Rab Meir. Stam Mishnah Rab Meir. So Rab Meir now Mishnah holds as follows. He's at fault. Husband's always at fault. Who noisin esrabation now? He's the one placing her finger between her teeth. It's a phrase, a saying. He confirmed. He formalized the neder. And therefore he's the one that sort of bit her. And therefore he's obligated. He's called to task. He has to pay the ksuba. Really? V'savar Rabbi Meir, who noisin esrabation now? Yeah, so is that so that according to Rabbi Meir, he's the one at fault? He's the one biting her? Tanya, listen to this price. Ha'isha should nadra ben nazir. An isha makes a neder. I'm going to be a nazir. V'shama bala. Her husband overhears. V'lo yeheferla. he neglects to make hafaras nedarim. He does not get in the way. He doesn't interfere. He allows her neder to stand. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda Imrim, they both hold. Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda both. He nasna etzba ben shinah. She's the one at fault. She placed her finger between her teeth and bit it. She made the neder. What do you have against him? Therefore, imratza haba lahafer yafer. If the husband decides to interfere with the neder, fine. That's his choice. But if he says, look, I can't handle this. I'm not going to live with an isha that makes nedarim and makes nazirus. I want out. She must leave without a ksuba. Rabbi Yesi, Rabbi Lazar, they both hold differently. Husband's at fault. He's the one who confirmed the neder. He's the one that solidified the neder. He's the one that's in charge of this neder. It's as though he placed her finger between her teeth. Okay, so if he wants to do afara, gesundheit, he can do that. If he decides that he can't handle an isha that does these commitments, he can divorce, but he has to pay the ksuba. Bottom line is, our question is a machlekes tanoim. Who's at fault when she makes a neder and he confirms it? Is it her issue or his issue? Clearly, according to Rav Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, it's her issue. And she can just leave, but without a ksuba. And here we're saying, and our Mishnah was saying, the same type of case. She makes the neder, he confirms, he divorces, but he has to pay for the ksuba. Eifuch says the Gemara, let's switch around the names to make it in sync with our Mishnah. Again, we're assuming that our Mishnah is Rav Meir, even though there's no name in our Mishnah, but Stam Mishnah is Rav Meir. It's his issue. And likewise over there in the Mishnah by Nazir, it's his issue as well. We'll switch around the names so that they line up with each other. Rav Meir of Rabbi Yehuda Imrim, hu noising, he's the one called to task. Rabbi Yesi, Rabbi Lazar Imrim, he nasna, she's at fault. Really? But now we're going to have a misalignment on Rabbi Yesi's case. V'sav Rabbi Yesi, he nasna. Is that so that according to Rabbi Yesi, she's taken to task? V'atanan. Let's go back to our Mishnah, where it so happens that Rabbi Yesi's name is mentioned. Is mentioned in a manner where we seem to be incriminating him. This is the last case in the Mishnah, case number 3. There was a neder to avoid, cosmetics. Rabbi Yesi Omer. So she made the neder and he confirmed it. He let it stand. Rabbi Yesi Omer ba'aniyos. If we're speaking about, a poor couple, so the isha is not so habitualized in this type of, lifestyle of cosmetics and etc. So she can handle, some more than a wealthy woman. Shalenos and kitzpah. If there is just an unknown here, he didn't provide any time frame for the neder, then he has to divorce and pay the ksuba. She made the neder, but he confirmed it. He's at fault. So Rabbi Yesi is of the opinion that he's at fault. And there in the Mishnah, you just switched around the names, which resulted in Rabbi Yesi holding that she's at fault. Says the Gemara, we'll switch around the names, we'll rearrange the names further so that it will work out. Ema, let's say like this. Rav Meir, Rabbi Yesi, Aimrim hu noisin. He's the one at fault. He's the one that placed, the finger between the teeth, which would be consistent with our Mishnah. We have Rabbi Yesi in our Mishnah who maintains that he's at fault, and Rav Meir as well. The Stam Mishnah Rav Meir, which maintains that he's at fault. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Lazar, Aimrim, the other pair hold, he nasna, she's at fault. 1 second, we have another problem. Rabbi Yehuda faults her, but Rabbi Yehuda is also contained in our Mishnah as well, as saying that he is the one that's going to be paying the ksuba for the neder that she made that he confirmed. V'savar Rabbi Yehuda, he nasna, is Rabbi Yehuda of the opinion that she is at fault? V'atzanan, we have Rabbi Yehuda in our Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'Yisrael, Yom Echad Yekayim. That was in the second case of the pay race, right? So if it's a Yisrael, 1 day, if it's a kain, but he has to pay the ksuba according to Rabbi Yehuda. Apparently he's the one that's at fault. Okay, so now we're really stuck. Says there were no problem. Instead of making it, 2 names on this side of the debate and 2 names on the other side, we'll make it 3 and 1. This way everything will be perfectly in line. Ema will say like this: Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, those 3, who are actually mentioned in our Mishnah as well, of the opinion that he's the one at fault, they all hold hu noisin. He's the one that placed the finger to be bitten. He's the one at fault. Rabbi Lezer is the sole sheet on the other side of the equation. Lezer Aimer, he nasna, she's at fault. Okay, so now everything works. Another approach would be Zugi Ketani, that the Mishnah in Nazir, it contains 2 pairs, a pair of Tanaim on this side of the debate versus a pair of Tanaim on the other side. So it's not a 3 and 1, it has to be 2 and 2. So how are you going to work it out? We could work it out nevertheless. Why? We'll say it like this: Ema, Rab Meir, Rab Lezer, Imrim, Hi Nasna. Rab Meir and Rab Lezer both hold she's at fault, and she's not deserving of a ksuba when she makes a neder. Rab Yehuda, Rab Yossi, Imrim, Hu Noisin, he's at fault and he has to pay the neder. Question remains, if Rab Meir faults her, but in our Mishnah we seem to fault him, he has to pay the ksuba, and we assume that he's stam Mishnah's Rab Meir. Answer is it's not. V'astam like Rab Meir. It so happens to be that our Mishnah, despite the fact that it's an anonymous Mishnah, which is typically Rab Meir, in our case it's not Rab Meir. Okay, so it works out. Bottom line is, all the Tanaim in our Mishnah, whether Tanakamba, Rabbi Yehuda, or Rabbi Yossi, all agree that even though she makes the neder, but since he has the ability to override that neder, he fails to do so, he's at fault. He's taken to task. He has to address the ramifications. Asks the Gemara, one of the Tanaim happens to be Rabbi Yossi. V'sava Rabbi Yossi ban Yoshel inasan kitzba. Rabbi Yossi holds, if she's a relative, a poor person, and she forbade herself to partake in these cosmetics, and he confirmed the neder, if it was an open-ended prohibition, open-ended restriction, he has to give a get and a ksuba. Why? It's your fault. You should have interfered. You should have stepped in. You should have destroyed the neder. Alma bal matzi mefer. Apparently, you're assuming that her husband has the ability to be mefer such a neder, even though it's pertaining to her personal issues. I won't use cosmetics. He can step in and interfere. Really? What right does a man have to do so? V'raminu, we have a kasha from Rabbi Yossi himself, who doesn't seem to hold as such. Elu dvarim shabal mefer. A husband can nullify the following nedarim. Not everything, only very specific things. This is based on the psukim and the parsha. Dvarim sheish behen irui nefesh, things which distress her. For instance, bathing. This is the Tanakama speaking. We're going to get to Rabbi Yossi in a minute. Im erchatz im loy erchatz. Rashi explains this is based on the Gemara Nedarim. It means ultimately she's not going to bathe. Why? She's saying, look, if I bathe, then I won't be able to bathe again. Im loy erchatz means I'm making a shvur not to bathe. The bottom line is she's not going to bathe. Im eskashet, im loy eskashet. She'll have no part in cosmetics and adornments. So im eskashet means if I do it, that'll be the last time for the rest of my life. In loy eskashet, I swear not to apply, cosmetics. A husband can interfere. Rabbi Yossi, no. These aren't pertaining to, internal nefesh needs. It's very important to bathe, to beautify, but ein elu nidre inu nefesh. These aren't nedarim pertaining to real inu nefesh, things that just stress a person. These are not internal issues. I'll give examples of inu nefesh. Things that really pain a person. I'll refrain from wine, from meat. This is an isha who needs it. She needs to, dress up with big day tzivoin, colored clothing. I won't. From now on, it's just black and white. That's, Rashi says, a gnai. Rashi on top line. Gnayu b'zoin hulo mizgan alav. This is going to be really terrible. She's going to lose favor in his eyes. That's really inu nefesh. Clearly, according to Rabbi Yossi, a husband can't get in the way of his wife's neder if it's only pertaining to, superficial issues, such as the case in our Mishnah, case number 3. I will not apply a certain type of cosmetic. He can't interfere. So why does Rabbi Yossi call him to task? Consider the husband at fault. What could he have done? He had no ability to override that neder. Answers the Gemara. And now Mishnah was speaking about a very specific case. We're speaking about body care issues which affect their physical interaction, removal of hair in sensitive areas. So there, he has the ability to override, and he should have done that. Well, that's not so simple. This works according to the Shita, the Dvarim Shebinei Lebina. These types of personal issues, Habal Mefer, a husband could interfere. Elul Mandamar ain't Habal Mefer, but according to the Shita, the husband cannot interfere even regarding these Nidarim, Michael Memer, then why is he at fault? The Itmars, we learned Dvarim Shebinei Lebina, these interpersonal issues, Rav Huna Amar Habal Mefer, a husband can be Mefer. Rav Adabar Amar ain't Habal Mefer, he can't be Mefer even these intimate issues. Shalom Matzinu Shul, we never found a fox, Shemeis, who died ba'afar pir, by running into the dirt and the earth of his hole, of his own hideout. Here as well, explains Rashi, here in growing in sensitive areas, that's not going to interfere with the husband's interaction. He knows his way around. So according to this opinion, a husband can't interfere with these types of vows. So why would we hold it against him for not doing so? Apparently was speaking a very unique arrangement. She said like this: if I proceed with applying, certain cosmetics, I will be usher in Tashma Shamita with you. It's a form of a neder. It's a conditional neder. I can't partake in kishutim and certain adornments and cosmetics, because if I do so, I'm not allowed to enjoy the interaction with you. The Amra, for instance, she says like this: hanas tashmishech alai. The benefit that one typically has from interacting with her husband will be usher on me, if I adorn myself. So now he has a full right to interfere. Because if she adorns, if she applies this perfume or cosmetic, he will no longer be able to interact with her. So although she can't really make herself usher on him, she has no right to do that, she's committed to him, but if she does it in this manner, she says, look, I can't enjoy my interaction with you, then he's stuck. He can't feed her something which is usher to her. Let's say an Isha says, your experience with me should be usher on you. I mean, you can't benefit from your interaction with me. She's not a player in that. She has no say in that matter. You can force her and interact with her, because she has no right to do that. She can't make herself usher on her husband. But if she expresses it the other way, in the reverse, she says to her husband, look, the anah that I typically have by interacting with you should become usher on me. Now that's a problem. Yofer, he has to quickly get that taken care of. You can't provide somebody with something which you cannot provide something which is usher to somebody. You can't feed him something which is usher to him. So that's the case in the Mishnah. If I am miskashet, I'll be usher on you, meaning I can't benefit from interacting with you. Now he's in trouble. He has to quickly take care of that neder. Asks the Gemara, why does he have to get involved? Okay, don't adorn yourself. Don't apply, this perfume, this cosmetic, and don't be usher on me. Easy way out. Because then people will consider her, a manuvel, unclean and undignified. It's not going to last. That's the bottom line. It's not sustainable. She's not going to bear it. So ultimately, she will be miskashet and be usher on him. So he better preempt that. Asks the Gemara, okay, let's say v'tiskashet v'tiaser. Even if she proceeds, she is miskashet with those cosmetics, and she becomes asher on him. It's not yet the end of the world. You have a week or two to work it through. Right? Remember when he made the nether against her, we gave him 2 weeks or 1 week. Here as well, let's give it a week or two. Why does she get to leave right now? Answers the Gemara, there's a fundamental difference between the two cases. When does this grace period apply? When the husband jumped and made the nether, the summer she figures, okay, it's the way of the land, the way of the world. He got mad at me. Not the first time. He made a nether. Look, give him a little time. I know him already. He'll calm down. He'll come around. So give him a week or two to come around. But now Mishnah, who made the nether? She made the nether, and he confirmed it. Apparently, he couldn't care less about me. The nadra ihi, she made the nether. V'shasek la. And he remained silent. He accepted it. He let it stand. Why did you allow myself to restrict myself in this manner? You weren't upset at me. Apparently, you don't have much interest in me. Savra, she figures, she was like testing him. Midi ishtek, the fact that he remained silent. Misna, who does sunnily, that's the biggest indicator of his lack of interest in me. And therefore I want that out. Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, when it comes to cosmetics, give it some time. Ba'aniyos shelenos an kitzba. If she's an isha who's an ani and not accustomed to these cosmetics, it's not so pertinent, it's not so crucial. Only time it's a real issue is if it's an open-ended nether without a defined time frame. That's too much to bear. Become a kitzpah, what's considered a limited time frame, which is reasonable. 12 months. She can live 12 months without these cosmetics. Rabba, 10 years. Rav Chizda Amar Abimi, regel, 1 yomtiv. Shekein b'nai Yisrael, miskashis b'regel, it is the derech for Jewish women to apply these things on yomtiv. So that's by an aniyah. We have more room, more room for tolerance. But Ashiras Lamed Yom, them it's a 30-day cap. Why 30 days? Ma'ishna Lamed Yom, Amar Abaye Sheken Isha Chashuva, a prominent, wealthy woman. Nehenis Meireyach Kishotel Lamed Yom. She still has residual, benefit from the aroma of her kishut, which she applied, within the last 30 days. So it lasts for 30 days. She can manage for 30 days without applying new kishutim, but past that is too much to handle. Okay, before we continue, let's just recap the Gemara up until now. We had a Mishnah with 3 cases. In the first case, he made a nether. You cannot have anah from me, Tanakama says. It's a 30-day cap. Rabbi Yehuda says by Yeshes Yisrael it's a chodesh, by the Kayin it's more. So, according to one opinion in the Gemara, there was a difference between Tanakama, who says 30 days, and Rabbi Yehuda says chodesh. If it's a 29-day month, that's all he has. Now, in the first case, in that case, he was the one who made the nether. But Rabbi Shmuel, Rav says he has to be mefarish. It's going to last for such and such. But if it's bestam, you have to be megarish and give a kesubos. Shmuel says even by stam, give him some time to come around. In case 2 of the Mishnah, she was the one who made the nether. I'm not going to have, the Paris, he confirmed it. So Tanakam says, right away, be megarish, give a kesuba. The same thing in the next case. She made a nether, I'm not going to apply, certain cosmetics. I think more explained she was tailored in Tashma Shamita, which makes it really critical. Again, Tanakama says, it's his issue. He should have stepped in and terminated the nether. He has to divorce and give the ksuba. Now by Paris, we have Rabbi Yehuda's Shita who says it's not an immediate thing, you give it a day or 2 days. And by Kishut, we have Rabbi Yesi who says we work with a different formula if it's kitzpah or 30 days, as we just explained. One more thing to point out, that according to Rav was the one who said that if the neder is open-ended, then you can't just leave her in a state of uncertainty. You have to divorce right away. So that was another way to explain the difference between case 1 in the Mishnah, where it's a 30-day grace period, and case 2 and case 3, according to Tanakama, he has to divorce immediately and give a ksuba. That's because we're speaking that it was bestam. He didn't really define, he didn't give a reasonable time frame, in which case he must address it immediately, be megarish with the ksuba. Okay, continues the Mishnah. Hamadar is ishtoi, shaloi teilach lebeis avia. This fellow got into something with his father-in-law. He tells his wife, you know what? A neder against visiting your parents. How long is that gonna hold for? Bizman shu ima bir. So now if the father is in town, they live close by, chodesh echad yukayim. If it's a neder for just a month, okay, she can bear it. We leave it alone. But if it's more than that, it's shnayim, yoytzi v'tin ksuba, he has to divorce and pay the ksuba. Ubezman shu bir acheres. The father lives in a different town. That allows for greater tolerance. Regel echad yukayim. So if it's for one Yom Tiv, until the next Yom Tiv, okay, we can handle it. But Shloisha, if it's going to last into 3 Yomim Tovim, Yoitzi v'tin ksuba, that's unreasonable. You're asking for too much. Divorce with a ksuba. Hamad eres ishtem. Shloi teilach l'beis ha'av. He makes a neder against his wife. You can't go to the base of the aval. Or the base of mishta, don't go to a wedding. Yoitzi v'tin ksuba. He has to divorce and give her the ksuba. You can't, shut the door on her socially. You can't do that. He's closing the door before. She's not going to interact with people. Nobody will interact with her. That's not fair to her. Let's say he has a reason for it. He's concerned about the lack of tznius, etc. Rashai, in that case, he's right. Let's say he tells his wife, he compels her to get involved in a non-tzniistic association. He tells her, look, Masha Martli. He says, unless you tell this person what you told me in private, I'm going to make a neder against you. Oy Masha Marti Loch. Or the neder will work unless you divulge to other people what I told you, something inappropriate. Or he threatens, unless you go and you fill up and you empty out into the ashpa. The Gemara later will talk about this, explain what this means. In all these cases, he's presenting, unreasonable demands against his wife. Yoitzi v'tin ksuba, has to divorce and pay the ksuba. Now let's go back to the beginning of the Mishnah. Don't go to visit your father. So if a father lives out of town, 1 Yom Tov she can handle, but 3, that's unreasonable. What happened to 2 Yom Tov? When we took a jump from 1 to 3. Hogav Akasha, we have some difficulty understanding the words. First you say, Amras Regel Echad Yukayim. If it lasts through 1 Yom Tov, it's okay. Hashnaim, apparently if it's 2 Yom Tov, that's too much. Yoitzi v'tin ksuba, right? Divorce and give the ksuba. Ema Seifa. Let's move on to the next part of the Mishnah where it says Shloisha. Yoitzi v'tin ksuba. If it's 3 Yom Tov, that's too much to bear. 3 is a problem. Hashnaim, Yukayim, but 2 is okay. Is 2 okay or not okay? We have 2 terutzim. Amar Abaye, Seifa Ason L'Kehenes. Rabbi, very simple. 1 is not a problem. 3 is a problem. 2, if she's an Eishes Yisrael, it's a problem. He has to divorce. But if she's an Eishes Kohen, in which case, once the Kohen divorces, he can't remarry, you give them some extra leeway, an extra grace, period, hoping that they'll come around. And this fits with Rabbi Yehuda's Shita, discussed in the previous Mishnah, that a Kohen allows for more slack. Rabbi Barula Omar, he says, I'll give you another pshat. Depends how desperate she is to go ham. Loi kasha, the answer is, kam b'redufa. If the Isha is accustomed to running home all the time, whether it's because she's uncomfortable at home or because she's very proud about her harmonious marriage and she wants to go tell her parents, either way, if she's always visiting her parents, then 2 Yom Tovim away from her parents is too much to bear. Whereas the second part of the Mishnah, which seems to say that 2 is okay, we're speaking about an ordinary case where the Isha is comfortable at home. In which case, 2 Yamim Tovim she can bear. On the topic of the Isha running home, we have a pasuk. Az hayisi be'enav kemoitzi shalom. This is a Klal Yisrael who found peace with her husband, Kaviyach, with Hashem. Amar Rabbi Yehuda kekala shenimtzes shlema bebeis chamia, like a kala who's doing very well, who feels accepted socially in her in-laws' home. Uradufa leilich ulahagid shvacha bebeis avia. She's always running to tell her parents, to tell her father what a good life she has, what a good marriage she has, how accepted she was in her in-laws' home. The pasuk further says, "V'hoya b'yimahu." This is la'asad lavi. Nu'um Hashem. Hashem says regarding Klal Yisrael, His beloved nation, Tikroi, Tikari ishi, v'loi tikrii. Sorry, tikrii liishi. You will call me. Klal Yisrael will refer to Hashem as our husband. V'loi tikrii li'ibali, rather than referring to Hashem as a Baal. What's the difference? Rabbi Yehuda kekala bebeis chamia, v'loi kekala bebeis avia. Ishi denotes marriage, as opposed to Bali, which can be referring to a chassan. So it's a kala who's already married in the Beis Chamia in her father-in-law's home, already married. That's Ishi, as opposed to a kala who's still home, unmarried. L'asad lavei, our bond with Hashem will be so strong, like a married couple. And Rashi and Hashea, and that pasuk says, the point is, L'asad lavei, we will serve Hashem with love. Our bond will be one of total fusion with Hashem, like a husband with his wife. Okay, let's just recap today's daf. We discussed a case of a neder, another case, and a third case. And we leave some grace period for the neder to unravel. Otherwise, he has to divorce and pay the Kesubos. We concluded with the Mishnah about a neder restricting her from visiting her parents. If father lives in town, 1 month is considered reasonable. Past that, unreasonable demand. Regarding a husband out of town, 1 regel is okay. Rashi says it was a derech of the daughter to visit her parents on Yom Tov, so 1 Yom Tov she can still handle, but past that, if it's 3, it's a problem. What about 2? Well, it depends. If she's a kohenes, we let it ride for another regel, according to Rabbi Yehuda. And if she's a redufa, she's accustomed to running home, then 2 is a problem. But ain't a redufa, if she's comfortable at her parent, at her husband and in-laws, in that case, she can handle up until, not including 3 regalim. And the Gemara concluded with a nevuah that Klal Yisrael will totally bond with Hashem, l'asad lavei, b'yimahu tikri ishi, b'mheir b'yameinu amen.